What's going on, guys? Bank Rubber Games here, more ADACA. And last episode, when we left off, we met up with the three scrappers and then fought through a load of enemies. We ran into both police officers, cultists, and some new sort of anomaly type enemies, which is really, really cool. So I highly recommend going back and watching last episode if you haven't seen it, because the levels that we played last episode, they're quite a bit more open in some ways. So that's quite fun to experience as well. So like I said, I recommend going back and watching them if you haven't seen it. For this episode, we're just going to be carrying on with this level Undermined that we only just started at the very end of last episode. So we have fallen down a mine shaft, and from the keep out and danger signs, I'm guessing it's definitely somewhere we don't want to be. Looks like we need a power cell to open that door. I have no idea where we need to get one. That did make me jump, but we'll find out what that is in a second. Before we go any further, considering we have lost our weapons, I'm not sure where the other weapon flew off when we opened the box. And looks like we've got a RPG, which isn't the most useful in this situation, and a weapon called the Scorcher. Very cool weapon. I found it's not too powerful, but it's definitely one of the more unique weapons of the game. I did forget that that was just there. So, there are these sentry turrets. But thankfully, all you need to do to get them to stop firing at you is pick them up for a little while, and then they'll sort of be hacked to be on your side. In this area though, you might notice there are these barrels and they've got radiation symbols on, so we're going to want to be very quick as you make our way through this area. And there are also some bits that we need to break though. And even if you don't get the weapon crates, I'd recommend picking up the auto turret because it'll make taking out these dogs a lot easier. I'm pretty sure there's a few more than that though. So we'll leave our turret there. That way if we get overrun, we can always run back to it. I do remember there being a couple of secrets in this area. So there is this hidden bunker here. Obviously we haven't got the code for it. The code is available on the guide that I'll have linked down in the description that I'm using to do this playthrough. Because although I have played the game before, I just want to make sure that I show off as much as possible for you guys. But for the time being, I'm not going to worry about it, just because I think I remember where the code is. I'm not 100% sure. Probably not a good idea to have the RPG out in close quarters. We could grab that other sentry turret, but I'm not too worried about it at the moment. And here is our first anomaly. So we have these spheres here. See the outline of it just here where I'm aiming. You definitely want to stay out of these. They will mess you up. Thankfully they are quite easy to see. You just have to be careful as you make your way through certain areas of the game. Something else that I need to point out as well is anything that you hold that you then point in that direction, when you throw it, it'll do a lot more damage. So here is that code for the bunker, 4924. So make sure to go back and get that. And here is the data cache for this level. Thankfully, that code's just told us where we need to go in order to get the data cache reader. Perhaps if I enter it correctly. Strange bit of poetry here. Oh, sounds like someone doesn't like us, or anyone else for that matter, trespassing in this place. So I am guessing it's one of the cultists we've come across. You'd also get the swarm launcher, another quite cool weapon. Again, not as powerful as I think it should be. Yeah, you might be able to see the lightning or the electricity striking that metal panel, and that'll basically be what happens to you if you go into one of these anomalies. You're going to have a very bad day. And if you've played Half-Life 1, this is a section that will be very familiar to you. Good old laser trip mines. Here you still want to crouch when you go through the container, because I found that this mine goes off if you're a bit close to this wall. That happened to me a couple of times when I tried making it through here when I first played the game. And you don't need to crouch in the air when you jump over these lower mines. But we will need to crouch in the air in a minute. I can't think if there was anything in here. That was very, very close. And yeah, this bit's a bit difficult. Took me a couple of attempts first time. It'll probably take me a couple of attempts this time. I was lucky. Yeah, these ones you have to crouch in the air for. That was very, very lucky there. But yeah, like I said, if you've played Half-Life, very familiar to you. If you hit the trip mine, it sets off the barrels. I've looked in all the train cars and I don't remember there being anything in them when I first played the game. Yeah, the Scorcher is really cool. It's like a little burst fire explosive launcher. Really like the idea of the weapon, but I don't think it does as much damage as it should. But these like gas vents here, you want to stay clear of, because that is what was causing the flames to spew out the ground and take out these cultists that we saw. Again, the swarm launch is very, very cool, but I don't think it does as much damage as it should. Something to point out though is there is a little sword and stone reference here, and I don't think there's a way to get over it, over to it. I did try a couple of things, but I can't figure anything out. But let me know down in the comments if you know a way to get over to it. Much needed health pick up there. I did think one of these guys had a grenade launcher on them. Obviously mistaken though. This might be what I'm thinking of. First time getting taken out. I'm sure there's going to be a couple more deaths in the future. I think we just got a bit unlucky there with getting hit by the grenade rifle, the grenade launcher. I mean, we seem to miss all our shots and he took himself out, so can't complain. In some ways I prefer the grenade launcher on the assault rifle anyway, because you don't need to reload it. I think it does pretty similar damage. It only comes with limited ammo though, I guess is the downside. I just sworn there were two heavies down here. Doesn't make the most amount of difference. Up here, there is a crossbow. And yeah, you can really use the bolts. Does a pretty decent amount of damage, but yeah, I think I will use it just because I think this is the only place in the game I remember finding it. But I'd much rather stick with the DMR. But apparently there is a weapon here that I didn't get when I first played the game. It involves running along these pipes and not falling, preferably. Probably end up taking myself out at this rate. And it is a it's a weapon called a rocket rifle that we'll get later in the game, but apparently this version is a tank gun, and you can see it's got a lot of ammo, and apparently it's got a much bigger explosive radius. So I'm definitely interested in using it. Like I said, I missed it the first time I played the game, yeah, hopefully we don't blow ourselves up. There is something else hidden here though that I need to look at before moving on, and that is this hatch here with the number 8686 on it. We need to remember that number. And yeah, I was surprised I managed to figure this out first time I played the game with that hatch, but it is very, very cool. Shotgun would also be quite a solid choice in this area. So I thought I'd pause the game there, but obviously didn't. Doing pretty well with the crossbow, thankfully. But yeah, like I said, I'd still recommend maybe using the DMR or one of the machine guns. But we should be able to swap this weapon out in a second. Just need to remember how to get down to the weapon chest. Don't worry, we will use the tank gun, but I am saving it for a specific area that I know that's coming up. And we got a pulse rifle, which is actually a weapon I haven't used before, but looks very cool. And with a name like the pulse rifle, well, it's got to be pretty good. I hope, at least. So yeah, when you scope in, it does a shorter burst than when you fire it from the hip. And it seems to fire a bit faster from the hip. I said it had a lot of ammo, but clearly can burn through it. Very, very cool. And you might remember that code from the beginning of the level that we saw on the hatch. And this, on this tower here, is where we enter it. That is 8686. I did forget it, so I did have to look at the guide. Again, the guide will be linked down in the description for you. And you might notice this blue light, and might be able to just about see there is a tank or an armoured vehicle waiting for us on the other side. So we do have that to look forward to, but we're not going to deal with it just yet, because we've got some more areas to explore, and we've also got to find out what was on the other side of that hatch. You can go this way, and you need to go that way anyway to progress. But do be careful of these purple balls. They pick up items and fling them at you, and when you get close to them, I think they make a shockwave that pushes you away. And it will do a lot of damage to you, so just be careful. Thankfully, with our laser magnum, they go down pretty easy. I see almost walked into an anomaly there. Can't get up that ladder. There is another mannequin there. They seem to be all around this area for some strange reason. But if you haven't guessed, what I was saving this tank gun for was what's down this hatch. I'm very much liking this pulse rifle. Bit disappointed that I didn't get to use it for my first playthrough. Well, at least I'm getting to see it now. Although I've mentioned it previously, there is an option. I'll show it off actually, just before we do this next section. So in the settings, we can do modifiers, and yeah, they really change up. They can potentially change up your playthrough. I think it's a really cool idea. And again, just the fact that this game was made by a single developer and they did something like that is really, really cool. But you might notice we've entered a very strange looking area, and it's not safe for us down here. Because there's these things. If they get close to you, they'll mess you up, but they've also got a pyro cannon that will mess you up as well, along with some more of these death orb things. But again, with our laser magnum, they're quite easy to take down. Tank gun took a little bit more than I was expecting to take these guys down, but there is another one down here. And thankfully, that is all of them. Just the two. We'll run into more of them and more difficult versions of them later on. But we'll worry about that in the future. There's this very strange room here with this idol that's obviously worshipped by the cultists. And in here though, there's more for us to find. And yeah, we'll be running into some of these guys later, but you can tell they're pretty tough. I don't know if they're supposed to be a reference to Minecraft. But yeah, very, very cool area. I was very freaked out the first time I found it. Again, all made by one person. Absolutely awesome. But looking at how long this episode has been and considering that spits us back out near the start of the level, I think here's a good place to wrap up this episode. I was hoping to finish this level this episode, but it is a little bit of a longer level with the fact that there is that side area to explore. But very, very cool, and it's definitely where the game starts getting a bit weirder. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode and been enjoying the series so far. Next episode, obviously, we'll just carry on and see what the rest of the game has in store for us and find out what I mean by when this is where the game starts getting a bit weirder. If you haven't enjoyed the episode and been enjoying the series so far, make sure to like and subscribe for more, and then that way you won't miss out on anything. But thanks again for watching. I always appreciate having you guys here, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.